Former President Donald Trump taking aim at the Biden Justice Department over the unannounced and unprecedented raid on his Mar-a-Lago home.
That's right. Trump, writing in a statement, quote, Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach, Florida, is currently under siege. The lawlessness, political persecution, and witch hunt must be exposed and stopped. I will continue to fight for the great American people. Fox News contributor Lara Trump joins us now. Lara, wow. Good morning to you. Have you heard anything more from the FBI about why this raid took place?
We haven't heard anything more, Carly. I think it's assumed that these documents in question, these 15 boxes that the FBI took yesterday, have something to do with the National Archives. It's a little interesting that you would need an FBI raid on the home of a former president in order to obtain those, especially when my father-in-law and everyone working with him was cooperating in lockstep with anything that they were asked for from the FBI and from any authority. So this seems wholly unnecessary. And I think the takeaway for the American people, whether you like Donald Trump or not, is that this is not just an attack on Donald Trump. This is an attack on every single American. This should scare you out there, whether you're a Republican, a Democrat, or an independent, no matter how you vote. Imagine this was your person that they did this to. Imagine this was former President Obama, former President Bush that got attacked in this way. The truth is, everyone knows why they are doing this. They are doing this because the establishment is terrified of President Donald Trump. He doesn't play their game. He is not one of them. It is highly likely that he will run again for president in 2024. They are looking for any way they possibly can to disqualify him. And this is a continuation of the witch hunt we have seen on Donald Trump from the day he announced he was running for president. They have pushed forward. Obviously, we know Russia collusion. Obviously, we know about the impeachments of Donald Trump, unnecessary impeachments. But then you look at what's happened since he left office. Attacks on anyone connected to him, attacks from attorney generals, from district attorneys. This is just a continuation of that. It is disgusting. This is not how we operate in the United States of America. You expect to see this from a communist regime, from a dictatorship. Certainly not America, and certainly not in 2022. It is disgusting, and it is disgraceful, and it should scare every American.
Lara, you just said it is highly likely that Donald J. Trump runs in 2024. The president posting this campaign-style clip on Truth Social overnight. Take a look.
Soon we will have greatness again. It was hard-working patriots like you who built this country. And it is hard-working patriots like you who are going to save our country. Because we are Americans, and Americans kneel to God and God alone. And it is time to start talking about greatness for our country again.
Lara, what did this raid on behalf of a glorified museum/library do to the 74 million voters who selected Donald J. Trump in 2020?
Well, man, it made them really mad, I can tell you that much. But it's also energized a lot of people. And I actually have heard from people since this happened who are not Trump supporters, who didn't vote for my father-in-law. They are just as angry as everyone else, and they are sounding the alarm bell as well and saying, if they could do this to Donald Trump, think about what they could do to the rest of us. I think it's only going to put more energy behind my father-in-law should he choose to run for president in 2024, because I think a lot of people harken back to the days of Donald Trump, how great America truly was under his leadership, how far we have fallen under the leadership of Democrats and Joe Biden. Who has benefited from Joe Biden being president of the United States? Let's see, the Mexican drug cartels, terrorists in Afghanistan, China, Russia, Iran. Those are the benefactors of a Biden administration. People are sick of it. We need America First policies. We need to get this country back. Now more than ever, I think people want President Donald Trump to run again. And I think if he decides to run, he will win overwhelmingly.
Laura, only about 20 seconds remaining, but what happens today? Will we hear more from the former president on this front, maybe in person, a speech? What happens moving forward?
I don't know necessarily what he has planned. I know people would love to hear from him. I think we ought to hear from the Attorney General. Perhaps we ought to hear from the White House on this, because don't let anybody fool you. There is no way that Joe Biden and the White House did not have previous knowledge
100%.
of this happening. I can tell you that for sure.
Lara Trump, thank you. Fox and Friends now.